Let's go ahead and adjust some of the defaults for some of the tooling in Inkscape. So you'll notice every once in a while when you make a shape, it may look funky. For example, let's start off with this circle shape. What you will have to do is when you make these shapes, you go to your fill and stroke, and certain aspects of auto building a shape will require you to, like, you'll see my cursor go down to the bottom left, and it'll automatically pull up. By clicking down here in the program, it pulls up this screen, which allows us to adjust the way this shape looks. For example, stroke style. By changing my stroke style, I could get this massively thick border by increasing the width of that stroke, which, you know, is something we don't want to do. No, we do not want to do. So, so this is where you'd make that adjustment. So let's say, for instance, you're having issues with a piece and it already looked terrible. So let's say it already looked, you know, something like this. Okay, so you're making these shapes. Okay, this doesn't look the way you want it to. Well, what are you supposed to do? And you know, every time I make another circle like that, it'll do the same thing. Not in this case because I don't have it set up like that. But I can click on my shape with this pointer tool and bring this down to, let's say, 0.125. I like that thickness there. And then all I'd have to do is go and, come on now. Double click on my circle tool. And it'll say, oh, okay, cool. So let's click on last used style, or this own tool style, take from selection. So I'm going to click on, using my pointer tool, I'm going to click on this and say take from selection. And it's going to take whatever I've chosen here and use it as such. Take from selection. I've clicked this, take from selection. I hit X. So now every time I do this, every time I pull it up, it'll do the same thing over and over. And notice mine is stretching out. There are ways where you can just, you know, when you're making a circle, let's say I already have this circle selected or this circle selected, I can set my ellipses Rx and Ry, so X radius and Y radius, by adjusting it here. So I can go, you know, 10 by 10 on my circle, and it'll allow me to adjust that to the appropriate size circle. But figure that's the X radius. You actually do most of your final adjustments here. So I'll go 20 by 20. And there you go. But how to adjust and make all of your auto shapes the exact same is to make sure that you first draw one of your circles, drop the size down to whatever you want it to be. In this case, I'm just going to go with a 0.1, it looks like there, and then I'm going to select it, double click on the circle tool, and then take from selection, and that will allow me to keep this shape and work with this shape and have every single one of my other circles mirror that. For example, if I did have this up to this thickness, I'll go like this, and this is already selected over here, so I say take from selection, and now every time I make a circle, it's going to have this thick, ratty border that no one really wants. No one wants that. So there you go. That's how you adjust your tools so that when you're working with it, you'll get the same type of tool path every time.